Chapter 30, 418. Besides, with my physique, I won't grow very long no matter how much I eat. Also, I have to go to the gym 3 times a week. I won't gain weight. Is that so? Another thing is that dieting is not good for your body. If you are malnourished, your complexion won't look good. It's not worth it. He was here to act. As long as he could act, he could seriously learn all kinds of skills and achieve a certain level of success in this industry. As for dieting, he didn't think it was necessary. His current height and weight were very good. Li Hufei thought it made sense. However, when he saw Wen Huai, he shook his head. Some people were born with good conditions and didn't need to be harsh on themselves in terms of food. Wen Huai did as he said. After eating dinner, he even diligently washed the bowls and chopsticks. Li Hufei originally said that he would do it or wait for the helper to come tomorrow. However, Wen Huai said, "It's just washing the dishes. It's not a particularly difficult thing." In fact, he didn't use to do this in the past. After all, he was the eldest son of the Wen family. It was not his turn to do this kind of work. Ever since he left home, he did everything and learned many life skills that he didn't know before. Li Hufei was relieved when he saw Wen Huai skillfully washing the dishes. Because of this, even if Wen Huai's temperament was extraordinary, he didn't doubt that he came from a good family. When Wen Huai was making porridge, Li Hufei left. Wen Huai's agent was still choosing, so he didn't have anything to do here for the time being. At about 9:30, Tangwa came back. She pushed the door open and saw Wen Huai leaning on the sofa, staring at the TV screen. "You're not asleep yet?" Wen Huai looked up and revealed his white teeth. "I'm waiting for you." "Waiting for me?" Tangwa changed her shoes and walked to Wen Huai. She looked at him seriously for a while and asked, "Waiting for me? Waiting for me to sleep with me?" Cough cough, Wen Huai almost choked. Although he didn't lose out, things happened too quickly. It didn't seem good. There's no need to rush this matter. Let nature take its course. System, you're still a silly boy. There will be times when you'll be anxious in the future. Don't worry, let's see who's anxious in the future. "Miss, have you had dinner?" Wen Huai asked. "I'm guessing you haven't." Without waiting for Tangwa to answer, Wen Huai revealed a look that seemed to be asking for credit. "There's porridge in the kitchen. If you haven't eaten, eat some. No matter how busy you are, you have to take care of yourself. You can't skip meals." "Indeed, I haven't eaten. I'm a little hungry." "Then I'll bring it out for you." Wen Huai quickly jumped up from the sofa and ran to the kitchen happily. He was obviously more than a meter tall, but he ran very fast and went to the kitchen in a flash. After a while, a bowl of porridge and 2 side dishes were placed in front of Tangwa. They were light and nutritious. "Eat. Try it and see what it tastes like." Wen Huai continued to shamelessly praise himself. "I made it. I heard from Assistant Li that you're often too busy to eat. This won't do. No matter how young your body is, it can't withstand years of torture. Being full for one meal and hungry for another, especially at the end of life, will also cause a decline in immunity and malnutrition. Then all kinds of diseases will come to you." Tangwa ate a mouthful of porridge and a side dish before saying, "Good cooking?" "Of course. I'm a very picky person. Fortunately, I have some talent in cooking. Otherwise, I would starve to death sooner or later." Chapter 30, 419. He was used to eating delicacies from a young age, especially the food made by chefs. Usually, he would find it hard to swallow. In his current situation, it was impossible for him to go to high-end restaurants, hotels, and private restaurants to eat every day. He had no choice but to do it himself. If it weren't for the fact that his cooking was good, he suspected that he might give up his dream for a mouthful of food in the future. Secretary Mei is already helping you choose an agent. Take advantage of these 2 days to have a good rest. You may be very busy in the future because you haven't received systematic learning. At that time, some training courses may be arranged for you. Can you accept this? Of course. Wen Huai's eyes were filled with disbelief. He had thought that Tangwa would directly arrange a role for him. He was very satisfied with her arrangement. What he lacked was systematic learning and the experience of his predecessors. After all, he was only a minor actor before. He might not be able to interact with the leading actors and veteran actors. What he wanted to learn was scattered, and his progress was very slow. No matter how sweet his mouth was, if he asked too many questions, the other party would become impatient. Not to mention whether he had time or not, the cost was also a large sum of money. It was not something he could afford at the moment. If this matter was spread back to his circle, he would probably be laughed at for a long time. After all, the former young master of the Wen family had fallen to this point. The next day, Tangwa went to the company early. She had no choice. The days of a big CEO were actually very busy. It was different from what was shown on TV. She did not have that much free time. She also did not have to date every day. Managing such a big company, various documents were sent to her every day. She had to have at least one meeting a day. Although she did not meet with clients every day, she basically met with some important people every other day. There were also some dinner parties that could not be turned down. Even if she got off work, she would have a few hours of free time. She might receive invitations to various banquets. After Mei Min filtered out the unimportant ones, she had to attend the rest or send some important people to represent the company. Therefore, as a big CEO, she was as busy as a spinning top after just a few days. She did not stop at all. Tangwa felt that with such a high level of work, the original owner's life was not regular, so it was not surprising that she fell ill at such a young age. Under normal circumstances, such a person would have someone arrange for him to work out and rest. As for the food, they would definitely hire a professional nutritionist to prepare it. Moreover, there would be a family doctor coming to check on him regularly. If he paid more attention, he wouldn't have too many problems when he was young. She could only blame herself for not cherishing her body at all. In the beginning, the only thing that kept her alive was the company left behind by her parents. Perhaps because he had been influenced by his parents since he was young, he understood that this company had taken a lot of effort from his parents, and it was steadily rising. So many employees had put in so much effort. If she didn't step forward to support the company, all their efforts would go to waste. It would also cause a large number of people to lose their jobs. Because of her responsibility, she took over this matter. There was no need to explain in detail what kind of hardships he would have to go through in the middle. He could understand it with just a little thought. She finally found someone she liked, but in the end, that person fell in love with someone else. Like to wear it quickly. Supporting female lead, calm down. Please collect it. Wear it quickly. Supporting female lead, calm down. Chapter 30, 420. It was also because she was not a bad-hearted and ruthless person that she silently helped Fu Fan and did not disturb Fu Fan and Lan Yiling. But how could she not be sad? The person she cared about was with someone else. At that time, the company would not be unable to survive without her. Naturally, the breath that kept her alive relaxed. In the end, Fu Fan turned against the company. She did not know what she was thinking at that time. In the end, she did not resist at all. She must be very tired and did not want to ask about these things at all. When she came back to her senses, Tangwa had been busy the whole morning. Recently, Mei Min had been paying attention to Tangwa's health. When it was time, she came in and asked Tangwa what she wanted to eat for lunch. Compared to yesterday, Tangwa was not as busy today and was slightly more relaxed. In addition, Tangwa planned to train a few more talents to help her manage the company. It was indeed a little busy to deal with these every day. As soon as Mei Min came in, she was stared at by Tangwa. She was very confused. She did not understand why Boss Tang was looking at her with such a strange gaze. Secretary Mei, do you think it's good to be a secretary? Mei Min was puzzled, but she still said, I think it's quite good. Mei Min was very serious. Besides, many people are envious of my position. After all, not everyone can be your secretary. Tang Guo looked away. She suddenly felt that Mei Min was probably not very relaxed. She planned to look at someone else. She had already thought about it. When the time came, she would train 4 subordinates. Secretary Mei was the person she trusted the most. She would be responsible for supervising the 4 subordinates to manage the company. As for her, of course, she could live a simple life. System. Are you happy with your little cook? Boss Tang, it's time for lunch. What do you want to eat today? I'll ask someone to prepare it. As for the nutritionist, they were still in the process of recruiting.
It would take some time.
Just as Tangwa was about to answer, her phone rang. It was a call from an assistant. Boss Tang, a young man came to the company and said that he wants to see you. He won't leave until he sees you. He also said that he lives with you, so Tangwa pondered for a moment and suspected that the person was Wen Huai. What's his name? Wen Huai. Hearing this name, Tangwa smiled. Let him come up. After hanging up, Mei Min subconsciously looked at Tangwa. Boss Tang, who is that? Wen Huai. Him? Mei Min was shocked. Why did he come to the company? I've already chosen a manager for Wen Huai. He'll take over in 2 days. Maybe he's bored at home. Mei Min couldn't take it anymore. Was this really the CEO Tang she knew from his doting tone? Her boss Tang couldn't have been taken by someone else, could he? She knew better than anyone how much boss Tang liked Fu Fan. However, Fu Fan was an ingrate. Now, he had a change of heart. Was he trying to divert attention? After a while, there was a knock on the office door. Mei Min opened the door and saw Wen Huai standing at the door with an insulated lunchbox. Today, Wen Huai was wearing casual clothes. He looked a little more lazy, but he gave off a clean and comfortable feeling. Hello, Secretary Mei. Wen Huai smiled at Mei Min. When such a handsome person suddenly smiled at you, most people wouldn't be able to resist it. Like to wear it quickly. Supporting female lead, calm down. Please collect. Wearing it quickly. Supporting female lead, calm down. Chapter 30, 421. But Mei Min was different. She just nodded lightly and said, Young Master Wen. Secretary Mei, have you had lunch yet? Mei Min had heard from Li Hafei that Wen Huai had prepared porridge for Tangui yesterday, so she had a good impression of him. Not yet. She glanced at the thermal lunchbox in Wen Huai's hand and understood. Was Wen Huai here to deliver food to Boss Tang? Thus, her impression of him increased a little. You can go in. Boss Tang is inside. In the end, he added, he's not very busy today. If Wen Huai had always been so good to Boss Tang, she thought it was not bad. Boss Tang had not had an easy journey. If there was someone who understood her and supported her by her side, she would be happier. Mei Min tactfully closed the door, and the corners of her lips unconsciously curled into a smile. She thought that Wen Huai was not bad. It was rare for him to be so concerned about Boss Tang's health. He was completely unlike Fu Fan, who was cold, arrogant, and only accepted Boss Tang's kindness. He had never cared about Boss Tang's condition. Why are you here? Miss, I brought you lunch. Wen Huai had completely forgotten that 2 days ago. He had thought that they should not develop too quickly. Now, he had taken the initiative to care about her. I made it. I saw that you enjoyed it yesterday. You must be very satisfied with my cooking. Isn't it troublesome to make these? You can just ask someone to do it. Tangwa said one thing and meant another. She had to admit that Wen Huai's food was indeed delicious, mainly because it suited her taste buds. System. I suspect that he has studied this world from the beginning. That's why he has such good cooking skills. After all, if you can capture the big CEO's stomach, you can capture the big CEO's heart. Dear host, this guy is now using his cooking skills to impress you. TSK, TSK, TSK. I really don't know who the person 2 days ago who said that they should not develop too quickly was. System. Men really do not mean what they say. Tangua. Tongzi, how many years have you been single? Do you want to try it out with a commander? In any case, you're all systems. Male systems and female systems are more or less the same. Didn't you know 2 systems before? Do you think 222 is more suitable or 111? When the system heard this, it couldn't help but ridicule. Great host, only you can think of this. 222 is just an underage brat. I'm his boss. I was obedient, but I didn't have any thoughts about him. As for 111, he was the same as his serial number. He was just an old fox and a hoodlum. I had even less interest in him. This kid often sends me messy emails, writing all kinds of trivial things. His words are repetitive, and his language is not concise. There are even many places that are not smooth. At first glance, I can tell that he is an uncultured person. As it spoke, the system talked about the numbering. This kind of uncultured system that can't even speak clearly is actually an official system. It's so lucky that it managed to hook up with a powerful host. There's no justice in this world. This 222 is much more pitiful. If it weren't for the fact that I'm not here, I would really want to take care of this obedient little brother. What if I meet a female system in the future? Host, I think it's better to be single. I won't stop being single. Tang didn't force it. Instead, she ate Wen Huai's food with relish. If I'm not busy these few days, I'll send you lunch and dinner. Tang paused and asked against her will, won't it be too troublesome? What's so troublesome about it? Now that I'm eating, drinking, and living in your house, shouldn't I make you lunch and dinner? Also, what's our relationship? Isn't this a good thing? Tang nodded. That's fine. After Tang finished eating, Wen Huai sat for a while before leaving, saying that he didn't want to disturb his work. As he walked out of the office building with a thermal lunchbox, a young man walked over and stopped Wen Huai. When this person took off his sunglasses, he was a little surprised. He knew this person. Wasn't he Fu Fan, the best actor Fu, who had been popular for the past 2 years? Best actor Fu? Your name is Wen Huai. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor, Endless Fantasy Translation, Transmigration, Female Supporting Lead, Calm Down. Chapters will continue to be updated in the handwriting bar. There are no advertisements on the website, so please bookmark and recommend the handwriting bar. Like to wear it quickly. Supporting female lead, calm down. Please collect it. Wear it quickly. Supporting female lead, calm down. Chapter 30, 422. Yes, my name is Wen Huai. So, do we know each other? Fu Fan glanced at the office building behind Wen Huai and shook his head. No, I just heard that Boss Tang has a newcomer. I passed by today and happened to see you.
So?
Nothing. I'm just saying hello. Fu Fan quickly put on his sunglasses, turned around, and got into the car. Wen Huai held his chin and looked at the car leaving, lost in thought. He didn't know him, but he recognized him at a glance and knew that he was the girl's follower. He knew that Fu Fan used to have Tang's support. After all, it was such a big news in the circle. He also knew that Fu Fan had announced his relationship some time ago. Based on a man's intuition, he felt that things were not simple. Why did Fu Fan come here for no reason and say such specious words? Did he think that he had never seen a palace drama? It seemed that he didn't care, but in fact, he should be reminding him that there was someone else around the girl. Didn't Fu Fan announce his relationship with his assistant? His appearance today was really a little inexplicable. Little Fan, I thought you went back to see Boss Tang. I didn't think that way. I just saw that young man and wanted to go over and have a look. After all, he looked like a newcomer to society, just like me. I just wanted to remind him that there is no shortage of people around that woman. Is that so? Chun Hung murmured. I thought you actually couldn't let go of Boss Tang. However, now that you have left Boss Tang and announced your relationship, you should get along well with him. If you go back on your words, not to mention that you can't go back to Boss Tang, it will be difficult to deal with the situation if you go back on your words after you finally gave your fans an explanation. Little Fan, every path is your own choice. In fact, if you really have Boss Tang in your heart, it's not a big deal to go back on your words. Chun Hung suddenly said, after all, as long as Boss Tang still likes you, he will help you deal with all the trivial matters in the outside world. You don't have to worry about anything. Brother Chen, you think too much. We just passed by here today. We didn't know that person would come to the office building, right? We just happened to bump into each other and had a casual chat. I don't have any other intentions. I see. It's fine as long as you don't regret it. Forgetting a person may not be something that can be done in a short period of time, but as time passes, any feelings you have for a person may slowly fade away. Especially when another good person appears, then it's even easier to forget another person. In fact, after a period of observation, Chun Hung always felt that things were not so simple. Had Fu Fan really never been tempted by Boss Tang? That might not be the case. Brother Chun, what happened between me and Boss Tang is already over. You don't have to have any hope for this anymore. After Fu Fan finished speaking, he closed his eyes. I didn't rest well last night. I'll be auditioning in a while, so I need to recover first. Seeing this, Chun Hung did not say anything else. He sighed softly. Lan Yeling was already waiting there. Judging from Fu Fan's appearance, he really didn't want to have anything to do with Boss Tang. Then, he wouldn't mention it in the future. He just didn't know what to do next. There would definitely be more and more trouble. Fu Fan had his eyes on a roll because the current situation was no longer that of someone sending piles of scripts to him for him to choose from. Chapter 30, 423. As for the directors who had been very enthusiastic about him before, they seemed to have heard something. Although it was just an audition, they still informed him out of courtesy and asked him to go and try it out. But it was completely different from how they had treated him before. Fu Fan accepted it well. As for whether he felt disappointed or not, only he knew. Chun Hung, on the other hand, felt the difference and felt a little lost. In fact, the current situation was already very good. Fu Fan's behavior, if it was someone else, would have angered the other party. Boss Tang did not do anything. He did not ask anyone to suppress Fu Fan, nor did he appear to warn or deal with him. He left some face so that those people would not really dare to do anything to Fu Fan. Host. Fu Fan appeared outside the office building just now. He even got out of the car to greet your little chef. From the looks of it, she was extremely arrogant and even said some specious words. Most likely, she was trying to sow discord between you and little chef. How did Wen Huai react? He did not seem to care. He stared at Fu Fan's car for a while and then happily went home with his thermal lunchbox. The system was depressed. I thought he would be jealous. After all, under normal circumstances, the little wife of a big CEO would feel sad, painful, and in disbelief because of this kind of thing. It would lead to all kinds of misunderstandings, and then, why is it different when it comes to the little chef? It is impossible to say that he does not care about the host. But why is he not angry or sad at all? Maybe he is smarter. He is not an ignorant person. It is impossible that he does not know about the relationship between the original owner and Fu Fan. Tang Gua analyze. Fu Fan has already announced his relationship. It means that there is no possibility between him and me. If he is depressed and angry, then there is something wrong with his brain. Is that so? The system silently accepted this result and sighed. I thought that when love rivals meet, they would be especially jealous. It seems that such a situation will not happen. By the way, Madam Host, Fu Fan seems to have taken a fancy to a role. He is planning to audition today. You don't have to report his whereabouts to me. I didn't report his whereabouts. I'm just saying that his audition for this movie was successful, but in the end, the director and the investor made use of his popularity to make the female lead and the second male lead popular. The female lead and the second male lead both entered the production team with resources, but they lacked popularity. In the next 6 months, Fu Fan will have all kinds of popularity. I know. He brought this upon himself. It has nothing to do with me. Dear host, are you really not going to do anything? The system asked. This isn't your style. Why are you so lucky today? When you have time, help me observe the people in the company and the people from other companies. See who is suitable. If there is a chance to poach them to work for me. I'm so busy every day that I don't have time to do anything else. What are you doing? Are you going to accompany your little cook? Tangwa was too lazy to tease the system anymore. She quickly browsed through the documents. The system didn't say anything else. Instead, it went to help Tangwa select the candidates. Within 2 days, Wen Huai's agent, Mei Min's assistant, Li Hefei, also officially took over. In addition, Tangwa assigned Wen Huai a nanny, van, and a chauffeur. Therefore, the people accompanying Wen Huai were his agent, Sun Zhen, his assistant, Li Hefei, and his chauffeur. From the second day of his agent's arrival, he began a month of learning. Every day, his schedule was packed. Chapter 30, 424. However, Even if her schedule was full and she didn't have time to make lunch, Wen Huai would still tell the cook that as long as Tangwa didn't go anywhere else, someone would deliver lunch to her on time if she wasn't in the city and didn't have a meal. If she attended a dinner party, the helper would listen to Wen Huai and send some hangover soup and porridge to Tangwa. There would even be some flower tea that nourished the stomach and cleared the intestines. At night, as long as Wen Huai was free and returned home first, he would prepare simple porridge and side dishes for Tangwa. Every day, he would cook in a different way. Just by tasting the taste, one would know that his culinary skills were not practiced in 1 or 2 days. However, Wen Huai really put in a lot of effort to help her cook. It had to be said that he was really considerate. In just a short month, Tangwa's lunch and dinner were basically arranged by Wen Huai. Regarding this, Mei Min and Li Hufei looked at Wen Huai with especially friendly eyes. They had been by Tangwa's side for a long time. Mei Min's matter was mentioned at the beginning. As for Li Hufei, he used to be a soldier. Later, he was discharged. After that, he planned to work as a security guard in a bar. The main reason was that he had a pair of weak and sick parents at home. They needed money to treat their illness. A few thousand yuan a month was simply not enough to maintain the family's livelihood. He wanted to work as a security guard in a bar's nightclub. He had some skills, and his company was relatively high in such a big city. He would bring his parents to a rented house and live as a family. He went to work at night. During the day, other than catching up on sleep, he could also take care of his parents and take them to the hospital for treatment. The elderly all had some old diseases. It was not life-threatening, but it was tiring. He had to keep an eye on them. Therefore, being a security guard in a nightclub had a good salary and was very suitable for him. However, Li Hufei was a person with a sense of justice. It was this innate sense of justice that caused him to offend people. At that time, he helped a 10-year-old girl and gave her directions. He also let her go and offended a certain big boss. In the end, he was beaten up. The bar didn't dare to hire him and chased him away. When it rains, it pours. His salary is not paid, and his father is sick. He had to scrape together some money to pay for his father's hospitalization fees. In front of his parents, he was a 1-meter-tall man, the pillar of the family. However, in a corner of the hospital, he hid and cried secretly. At that time, he felt that he was very useless. One day, he was almost unable to pay for his father's hospitalization fees. At that time, he happened to meet a company executive who came to the hospital to visit a sick company executive. He bumped into Li Hufei, who was crying. The original owner had never seen a meter-tall man crying his heart out in a corner. She was a little curious and a little sympathetic. She thought that something bad must have happened to him. After arranging for someone to investigate, she officially hired Li Hufei as her assistant to help her deal with some troublesome matters. Li Hufei had been in the bar for a few years and had seen all kinds of people. He knew the basic rules. His only weakness was that he was too righteous. He couldn't do anything that went against his principles and morals. 5 minutes away from the original owner's villa was Tangkor's staff dormitory. Some of Tangkor's staff and the helpers in the villa, including Li Hufei and his parents, all lived there. This staff dormitory was specially built for Tangkor's staff. Chapter 30, 425. In the staff dormitory, there were single rooms and suites. It was enough to accommodate all types of staff. As long as they were promoted to a certain position or worked in the company for a certain number of years, they would be given a house in the future. It was worth mentioning that Tangkor also dealt in real estate. This was why the staff at Tangkor were so united. It was all because the conditions given by the original owner were too good. Sun Ge said, "He's already looking for a suitable role for me." That night, while Tanghua was having dinner, when Huai sat in front of her and revealed a set of white teeth, "I won't let you down. What do you want? Ask Sun Zhen to arrange it for you." Sun Zhen also suggested that you play the third male lead to test the waters. But you have to choose the role carefully. Even if it's not the main role, you have to leave a deep impression. The third male lead is already very good. If it weren't for the big sister's help, I might have to take on a few more roles. Perhaps it was because he had grown up at a different height, when Huai didn't feel that there was anything wrong with being taken care of. On the contrary, after suffering so much outside, he was finally able to feel warmth, so he was extremely touched. Especially after being together for a month, he felt that even if he died in her arms, it would be worth it. As for his face, he did not care at all. I told Sunge that I don't want to follow the flow path. I want to follow the path of acting. I just want to act and take on good scripts. As long as it's for the sake of a good script and doesn't go against my principles, I can act in it. Tangwa lifted her head and said, I also told Sunjin that I'm not allowed to act in any intimate scenes. System. That's more like a domineering CEO. I'll listen to you. Actually, I don't want to act in any intimate scenes.
There's no need for that.
Even if it's an idle drama, if I don't really like the role, I'll try my best not to accept it. When Huai suddenly asked, Miss, do you think it's not good for me to act this way? There's nothing bad about it. You have your own principles. Plus, I think you really like acting and don't chase after fame and fortune like everyone else. At my place, you can do what you like. If there's any problem, I'll cover for you. You're so good. Even I want to marry you. When Huai shamelessly said, Actually, let's think about ourselves first. It's fine if we develop faster. Sometimes, when things like love comes, nothing can stop it. Tangwa calmly said, There's no rush. You're still young, in your early 20s. Take care of your career first. Starting a family and starting a career, starting a family before starting a career is about the same. And previously, when they were being intimate, he even told him not to develop so quickly. He knew that this silly boy would regret it sooner or later. If he had given in from the start, wouldn't there be so many problems? Chapter 30, 426. Look, his host was so outstanding that everyone in the country knew about it. Look at how he looked at the flowers and plants that wanted to come in. I think we can try to hold hands. When Huai felt that time waited for no man, he had to take some measures. As he said this, he had already moved to Tangwa's side and held her left hand. After dinner, let's go for a walk. It's already dark. It's dark, but it won't affect the walk. Just turn on the lights outside. The headquarters can. Lie down after dinner. That's not good for the stomach. As the saying goes, walk 100 steps after a meal and live to be 99. That makes sense. Let's go after dinner. The little cook asked to go for a walk. Of course. Tangwa agreed. Looking at how happy he was, what was there not to be satisfied with? The system looked at this little fool. It was so happy that it couldn't close its mouth. It was really a waste of its good looks. After dinner, Tangwa planned to wash the dishes. When Huai pushed her to the sofa and gave her a glass of water. It's just one person's bowl. I'll wash it. I heard from Secretary May that you haven't rested all day.
Take a rest.
After a walk, you can come back and wash up. Then you can have a good sleep. Oh, right. I bought you an aromatherapy eye mask. Try it on when you sleep. It can relieve eye fatigue. I used to use it often. It's very useful. If I didn't know that you're an actress, I would have thought that you came here to do an advertisement. Tangwa sat on the sofa and didn't force him. Looking at Wen Huai's happy face, she let him do it. No wonder all men liked to be CEOs. Who wouldn't like to have such a cute husband at home? Moreover, her cute husband and cook husband was much smarter than those CEOs' wives. The night passed just like that. For Wen Huai, it was a day of great progress. After all, when he held the little sister's hand, she didn't object and was even willing to take a walk with him. He decided that after he got the role and got the money, he would buy a beautiful ring for her to wear. With these thoughts in his mind, Wen Huai fell into a dream. The next day, Wen Huai and his manager, Sunjin, began to choose a suitable role. Tangwa was a big shot. Those who paid attention to these things soon found out who was around her and who was living in her villa. Therefore, it was really easy for Sunjin to get the script. However, when they found out that Wen Huai only wanted a third male lead role, many directors were shocked. They had never seen someone with such a small appetite. A few days later, the script was selected. Wen Huai went for an audition, and the director was very satisfied. Then he joined the crew and got busy. Fortunately, the filming location was in the city, so there was no need to go to a place far away. When Huai came back after filming, on the other side, Fu Fan had also joined the set. He was the male lead from before. From the first day of filming, Fu Fan had encountered some trouble, mainly from the female lead and the supporting male lead. Of course, it was not very obvious, but their words were full of sarcasm. Both of them had some background. Knowing that Fu Fan didn't have any background, the proud and arrogant two of them worked together without hesitation. But in terms of filming, Fu Fan was an experienced actor. Even if the two of them worked together, they couldn't suppress him. After all, to be able to get to this point, he was still capable. But Fu Fan's assistant, Lan Yeling, was more sullen. Wonderful book house latest website. Katop. Chapter 30, 427. Because of Fu Fan, Lan Yeling would be put in a difficult position by the female lead and second male lead from time to time. It wasn't a big deal, just some small details. However, when such things piled up, it would make one feel very uncomfortable. Especially the original Fu Fan, who would always be arranged to have his own dressing room. But now, the female lead and second male lead, who had backing, had to occupy a dressing room all by themselves. The venue was only so big, so Fu Fan had no choice but to share a dressing room with others. Although not everyone was very snobbish and made things difficult for Fu Fan, it couldn't be compared to the group of people who used to call him Best Actor Fu. All of them were especially fawning and attentive. Regarding everything that had happened to Fu Fan, no one could tell what he was thinking from his expression. He had a slightly cold and aloof persona to begin with, and he wasn't a particularly gentle person to outsiders. Therefore, he watched all of this happen with cold eyes, as if he didn't show any particular anger. This kind of behavior made the female lead and second male lead a little unhappy. After all, the current Fu Fan still had a certain status in the industry. But without anyone backing him, he would be pulled down from the altar sooner or later. Although Fu Fan was a best actor and was very popular for a while, he wasn't an old man who had been in the industry for decades. Hence, his foundation wasn't stable at all. Little Fan, this is just the beginning. How is it? Can you still handle it? Chun Hung asked. Even if you say you can't handle it now, you have to. There's no turning back. You can only brace yourself and continue. The coming days may get more and more difficult, but... Chun Hung patted Fu Fan's shoulder and said with a gratified expression, but you are different from those popular celebrities. You have real ability. As long as you get through the current difficulties, immerse yourself in it for 1 or 2 years, and stick to your principles, you will be able to stand firm in this industry. So, I have an idea. When you take on a script, you can only take on one that benefits you. Even if it's not the male lead, it's still better than taking on a shoddy job. Although you don't have a backer, your own ability won't disappear. Also, with the reputation you have accumulated over the past few years, don't be afraid that you won't be able to take on any roles. There are still some directors who don't look at the people behind them, but only the actors themselves. As long as these directors have suitable roles in their hands, you can try. Brother Chen, are you saying that I shouldn't accept this role? Fu Fan asked. Chun Hung hesitated for a moment and nodded. Although a lot of money has been invested in this drama and you're getting paid a lot, do you know anything about the female lead and the second male lead? I heard that they were arranged by the 2 main investors, Fu Fan replied. He was not interested in knowing the situation of those people. However, he also knew some basic information. In the film crew, these 2 people were indeed very arrogant. As for his own treatment, he did feel the difference. However, he was mentally prepared for all these things that he had encountered. At present, Fu Fan still didn't know that Lan Yeling was bullied by the 2 men and 1 woman. Otherwise, he wouldn't be so calm. But soon, Fu Fan would find out. Then do you know about their background, character, and image in the public? Quickly, where the supporting female lead, calm down a bit. The chapters will continue to be updated on the handwriting bar. There are no advertisements on the website. Please bookmark and recommend the handwriting bar. I like the transmigration female supporting character. Calm down. Please collect the transmigration female supporting character. Vertex. Chapter 30, 428. Fu Fan paused and said, I don't think I need to know so much about them. You're still too young, too arrogant, and too well protected. Chunheng couldn't help but think of Tang Tanggua. Boss Tang was so good. She was young and beautiful, and she liked Fu Fan wholeheartedly. He didn't understand. Many men dreamed of such a beautiful, rich, and beautiful woman. But Fu Fan didn't like her. Could it be that nothing could beat true love? He actually had some opinions about Lan Yaling. She was the assistant he had arranged for Fu Fan. In the end, she had secretly attracted Fu Fan's attention. It was really a sin. However, there was nothing wrong with Lan Yaling herself. She could be said to be a diligent, not lazy, and rather sincere young lady. Her character was quite good. It was just that he didn't think the two of them were suitable for each other. Especially because of Lan Yaling, Fu Fan was now in a difficult situation. He couldn't complain even if he didn't want to. But Fu Fan liked her. He knew her character, so he didn't dare to blame Lan Yaling. But if Fu Fan knew, he wouldn't know what he would do if he got angry. Is there a problem? Fu Fan felt that Chunheng had something to say. Chunheng said bluntly, You've worked with them for a few days. Did you feel anything when you were filming with them? I haven't had many scenes with them in the past few days, Fu Fan said. I've had more scenes with the female lead, but only 2 scenes with the second male lead. They're all fighting scenes, so I don't have any lines. Speaking of this, Fu Fan told him his experience. One of the fighting scenes was a little difficult, so the other party used a stunt double. Did you feel anything when you were filming with the female lead? Fu Fan said, her lines were a little bad. But in this industry, many actors' lines are not very good. This shouldn't affect her too much. There will be professional dubbing later. What do you think of her acting skills? Fu Fan finally understood what Chunheng was trying to say. He replied, It's a little stiff. In some scenes, his expression is very unnatural. Brother Chun, you should be talking about this, right? That's right. That's what I want to say. Xiao Fan, do you understand your current situation? You're an actor, and you're working with 2 newbies who don't have any acting skills. It's fine if the film is passable, but if it's not, it won't be good, and the audience won't be satisfied. What do you think you'll lose? Fu Fan's expression changed slightly. Of course, he would lose popularity. Even if many people did not think that there was a problem with his acting skills, they would think that he had been implicated. But in the future, whenever someone mentioned a bad movie, they would mention Fu Fan and say that Fu Fan had acted in that bad movie. Since he was in this circle, of course, he liked acting very much. With his looks, it would be easy for him to become a popular celebrity and earn fame and fortune. However, what he liked was acting and winning awards. If he ruined their reputation, it would go against his original intention. You should understand my worries, right? This is just the beginning. In the future, I'll be able to ride on your coattails a lot. Just watch. You'll be in trouble soon. The trouble that Chunheng mentioned was indeed coming soon. In the past, when Fu Fan was under the protection of the original owner, no one dared to make a scene with him. But now it was different. Miss, didn't Fu Fan announce that he's in a relationship? Why is he still making a scene with someone else? At night, Tanggua and Wenhui had dinner and came back from a walk. Then they sat together and watched TV. Wenhui held his phone and scrolled for a while. Then he saw a trending topic. He quickly pointed it out to Tanggua and smiled happily.
The peak.
Chapter 30, 429. What do you think? Tanggua asked him back. Wenhui smiled and said, It's most likely a kidnapping operation. Although I haven't been in this industry for long, I've seen a lot of things. For a famous actor like Fu Fan, if you don't pay attention, it's easy to be kidnapped. Moreover, the person who kidnapped him is the female lead of the drama he's currently filming. This kind of thing is hard to avoid under normal circumstances. If I remember correctly, the female lead should be a newcomer. About a month ago, she appeared on a variety show. I'm guessing that the other party has a strong background, or she has someone backing her. You know quite a lot. Of course. When Hui didn't think there was anything wrong with being confident, nor did he think it was a little shameless. My little sister is so good. I don't know which eye of Fu Fan's is blind. As he spoke, he secretly observed Tanggua's expression. Seeing that she didn't look unhappy and didn't look like she was deeply in love with Fu Fan, he felt relieved. It seemed that his little sister was a very rational person. Since she was done with Fu Fan, she would cut him in half and have nothing to do with him anymore. Since she had brought him back, she would definitely treat him wholeheartedly and wouldn't look at anyone else. Wen Huai took the opportunity to grab Tanggua's hand and moved closer to her. This time, the two of them were basically leaning against each other. He held the phone in one hand and Tanggua's hand in the other. The phone screen was within their line of sight. His right thumb continuously swiped across the screen of his phone, which was filled with news about Fu Fan and the female lead actress. Are we officially together now? Wen Huai felt that this was a very good time. I think it's about time. Little sister, what do you think? We've known each other for more than a month. During this month, I've been eating your food, living at your place, wearing your clothes, using your things, and even letting you find resources for me. Basically, I'm your person. If we can't be together, then it's a little unreasonable. Tanggua looked up with a smile in her eyes. Did you enter the wrong industry? You shouldn't be acting. You should be doing crosstalk. Performing crosstalk is too difficult and requires a certain level of talent. I might not be up to it. Besides, I'm not interested in that. Miss, can we be considered to be officially dating? Wen Huai wouldn't give up until he got an answer today. Ever since they started living together, she had taken care of everything for him. Now, he was even holding her hand. If it wasn't that kind of relationship, no one would believe it. Big sister, why aren't you replying? Do you not like me?
No.
That means you like me, Wen Huai said to himself.
Of course you like me.
Otherwise, why would you take me home so decisively? Let's not talk about the past. Since you like me, and I have a good impression of you, now that we're holding hands, we're dating. If you don't object, that means you agree. Wen Huai logged in and clicked on his Weibo homepage. Then he began to write a Weibo post. Previously, he was just an extra. Other than a few acquaintances in the same industry, not many people paid attention to him. Based on his previous scenes, the audience probably couldn't remember who he was. What are you doing? Tanggua was a little curious. Wen Huai was silly, but he knew how to seize the opportunity. Wonderful book house peak. Chapter 30, 430. As a peony, I'm finally no longer single. Let's post on Weibo to celebrate. Wen Huai glanced at Tanggua. Will Miss mind?
No.
Wasn't it just a post? It wouldn't be a problem to just take a picture and post it. System. I knew it would be like this. Then I'm relieved. Wen Huai quickly typed 2 sentences, as if he was afraid that Tanggua would go back on her word. The 2 sentences were, Today, I'm happy that I'm no longer single. I hope that Miss and I can be together for a long time. Wen Huai, who had originally planned to post, suddenly felt that it was a little monotonous with just 2 sentences. It was a little unworthy of the beginning of his relationship with Mississippi. Therefore, he clicked on the picture below and chose to take a picture. With a particularly expectant gaze, he said to Tanggua, It's better to add a picture. When he saw Tanggua nod, the corners of his mouth couldn't close. Sure enough, his miss liked him. If she didn't like him, would she allow him to do such a thing? After taking a photo of the 2 of them holding each other's hands, Wen Huai uploaded the post. Then, he clicked on his profile and changed his status from single to in love. Although there weren't many people who followed Wen Huai, there were still a few. Among them, there were a few new followers. They were Wen Huai's manager, Sun Zhen, his assistant, Li Hufei, and Mei Min, who followed Wen Huai very closely. Mei Min followed Wen Huai because of Tanggua. After all, this was the person that Tanggua was currently supporting. She had to observe any movements. At this time, Mei Min didn't receive any news. Because she had set up a special follower, she received a notification that Wen Huai had posted on Weibo. Wen Huai basically didn't post on Weibo, so Mei Min subconsciously clicked on it to take a look. When she saw it, she couldn't help but rub her eyes. Looking at that paragraph, it was a little childish, but at a glance, it was clear that the person who posted this paragraph was truly happy from the bottom of his heart. For a moment, Maymin felt a little conflicted. There was also the hand that was clasped with 10 interlocked fingers, and the other hand that was fair and slender with a watch on her wrist. She was very familiar with that watch. Wasn't that her boss Tang's watch? Maymin didn't know whether to laugh or cry. She was a little gratified. She didn't know why she was so gratified. Perhaps it was true. She had seen too many ghosts over the years and suddenly found that there was someone as sincere as Wenhui de Tanghua. She was inexplicably touched. In this month, Wenhui's various performances had won Maymin's heart. Every day, Wenhui would arrange Boss Tang's lunch and dinner. His complexion looked much better, and he didn't go to the hospital again, as she had worried. This Wenhui is not bad. If he can stay the same, Boss Tang really picked up a treasure this time. Maymin smiled and muttered this sentence. Then, she posted 2 words under the status. Congratulations. Then, she clicked on Wenhui's homepage and found that he had changed his status to that of a relationship. She thought a lot more highly of Wenhui. She remembered that Fu Fan had always announced to the public that he was single and didn't have any relationships. Boss Tang was also a person who didn't care about these people. In addition, he was busy and didn't ask much about Fu Fan's affairs. Actually, she just respected Fu Fan. So, this was the difference between liking and not liking, right? Chapter 30, 431. Li Hufei saw it too. Like Mei Min, he had received help from the original Tanghua in times of adversity, so he paid close attention to everyone around Tanghua. The next day, Wenhui clearly felt that Li Hufei was especially friendly to him. However, he was also quite happy. Since he was free, he even treated everyone he knew to a meal. When someone asked him what was going on, he said that he was no longer single and was in love. His partner was a very beautiful and gentle young lady. Li Hufei and Sunjin didn't know whether to laugh or cry. However, the people in the crew felt a little strange. Wenhui obviously joined the crew with resources. Otherwise, the director wouldn't be so nice to him and take care of him in all aspects. They had never heard of Wenhui in the industry. Therefore, they all thought that Wenhui must have someone backing him up. However, now that Wenhui happily announced that he was in love, they overturned their previous thoughts. Could it be that Wenhui joined the crew not because he had someone backing him up, but because he himself had an extraordinary background and was a rich young master who came to the entertainment industry to play? There were many things in the business circle, people, and especially those low-key rich young masters. They didn't know. However, after Wenhui announced that he was in love, many people's attitudes towards him changed a lot. Wenhui accidentally heard people whispering about whether he was a rich young master or not. He almost spat out a mouthful of water. He heard all kinds of guesses from those people. He never thought that his carefully hidden identity would be guessed by a freak combination of factors because of a relationship. However, he would never admit it. That day, Wenhui received a message from his family. "Hui, you're in love." It was Wenhui's mother calling. "Which girl is it? How's her character?" Wenhui hid in the toilet to answer the call. When he heard his mother's question, he was speechless. "Mom, if you call this number, it means that you know where I am." "Hey, you useless brat. You're finally powerful for once. You actually got such a powerful girlfriend. When are you bringing her home?" Wenhui's mother was very happy now. She no longer cared about whether Wenhui was in the entertainment industry or not. Who was Tanghua? She was a famous career woman in the country. She was young, beautiful, and capable. Now that she was in a relationship with her crippled son, would they still have to worry that no one would take care of their family assets and inherit them? If this brat likes to act, then he can act. As long as his wife is capable, it's fine. When you were born a few days ago, after your face grew, I felt that you weren't simple. It's mainly because she's too good-looking. One look, and you can tell that she's a gigolo. Wenhui. How could he talk to his own son like that? After all, you're so good-looking. It wouldn't be right if you didn't live off a woman. Mrs. Wen continued. Actually, We've been waiting for an older rich woman to take a fancy to you and make you hate that circle. Then, you'll obediently come back and accept our training. Only when you've been beaten by society will you know the warmth of home. Why? What the fuck? This family has ulterior motives. Why? Be good with Miss Tang. She's a good lady. There are too many playboys in the circle. Don't be blinded. If you like acting, then go act. Find a suitable opportunity to bring her home. Mrs. Wen continued, I've discussed it with your father and grandfather. If you two are really suitable for each other, then get married early. Anyway, you don't mind announcing your relationship. After you get married, you can let your wife familiarize herself with the company earlier. If we work together, it'll be easier for her to manage in the future. Why? Mom, you're too anxious. What's the hurry? You've been together for more than a month. Those who go on blind dates usually get married within a month. I'm just asking you to find a suitable opportunity. Why? Is that so? Boss Tang, someone from the Wen Corporation is here. He said that he has a project to discuss with us. He hopes that Boss Tang will personally discuss this project. When she received this call, Mayman thought that it was a scam. Chapter 34-32. Later, when Hui said that he would make an appointment to talk about it and even sent her some materials. She read the materials. This project was a big movement of Wen's company recently. Many companies wanted to cooperate with Wen's company on this project. As long as there was no accident, this project could only be profitable. She couldn't understand why Wen's company didn't have a base here and they had never cooperated before. Moreover, wasn't it better for them to choose some professionals to do this project? Was it because Boss Tang was so powerful that Wen's company felt that it was safer to cooperate with Boss Tang? If not, she couldn't think of any other reason. Wen's company was also one of the top 5 companies in the country. What was more, Wen's company had been the #1 company for 3 years. Okay, I will go there myself. System. Host, it seems that Wen's family is anxious. I don't know whether they are anxious or not, but I am interested in their project. Since we will be a family in the future, I will not be polite. That day, Mayman arranged the time for Tanghua. They met on the 3rd day and talked about the cooperation very smoothly. The president of Wen's company came in person with his wife. After the talk, they had dinner together. Later, Mrs. Wen praised Tanghua's good skin and asked if she often went to the beauty salon and what project she had done. While chatting, they went to the beauty salon. You went to the beauty salon with someone again? When Hui came back after a day of shooting and found that Tanghua hadn't come home yet. The main reason was that it was almost time. His little sister was so beautiful and nice. She wandered outside every day. What if she was attracted by other men? He was a little worried. Is it a woman? Then, did you eat anything tonight? Did you eat anything good? If she didn't, I will prepare some porridge for her. She has a good stomach. I don't want her to fall ill because she didn't eat well for a day. Mayman didn't know whether to laugh or cry. She could feel Wen Hui's jealousy and concern through the phone. She felt that even if they were talking about women, Boss Tang, the little cook, would still be jealous. Young Master Wen, there's no need to prepare anything today. The person who invited Boss Tang for dinner today is not an ordinary person. Boss Tang ate to his heart's content, and neither of them drank much. In order to meet the other party, Boss Tang didn't have any other plans this afternoon, so he wasn't too tired. Mayman said, Boss Tang also said that you should rest early after a tiring day. Don't tire yourself out. I know. Don't worry. I'm as strong as a bull. Secretary May, tell the big sister not to worry. I'll take good care of myself. Tell her that I'll wait for her to come back before I sleep. By the way, who is the client I'm meeting today? When Hui couldn't help but ask. Being able to eat comfortably at a social gathering really made him curious. Moreover, after the meal, she went to the beauty salon with the other party's female companion, which meant that they really had a good conversation. It's the president and his wife of the Wen Group. They currently have a particularly big project and intend to cooperate with Boss Tang. Looking at today's situation, the project should be almost settled. They're just waiting for the two parties to discuss some details and sign the contract. A rare smile appeared on Mei Min's face. Besides, President Wen and Mrs. Wen are really approachable. They didn't persuade President Tang to drink at all. They kept saying that drinking too much is bad for the body. They even went to a private restaurant. The dishes there are really delicious. They were all meticulously prepared by the chef. Transmigration, female supporting role, calm down chapters will continue to be updated on the website. There are no advertisements in the website. Please bookmark and recommend the website. Like Transmigration, female supporting role, calm down. Please bookmark. Female supporting role, calm down. Chapter 34-33. Wen Corporation? President Wen, Mrs. Wen? Wen Huai was a little dumbfounded. When he came back to his senses, he hurriedly asked, "Which Wen Corporation?" "The Wen Corporation in Sea City, the biggest one in the country. Recently, they've been doing something big. Boss Tang and I didn't expect that they would take a fancy to our company and choose to cooperate with us. Although the Tang Corporation was also very powerful, it was still better than the Wen Corporation. The Wen Corporation's existence could be traced back to a long time ago. Its position could be said to be very stable. It had accumulated countless connections and money." Wen Huai hung up the phone with a dumbfounded expression. Then, he couldn't help but call his mother. Mrs. Wen, who was lying in the beauty salon, was not surprised when she received the call. "Yes, I'm having a facial with Xiaogua. Yes, after talking about cooperation, eating together, and now going for a facial together, they no longer called each other Mrs. Wen and Boss Tang. Instead, they called each other Aunt Wen and Xiaogua." "Mom, what are you trying to do?" Wen Huai was a little frustrated. "Isn't it a little bad for you to do this? Your dad, and I think it's very good. Your grandpa also thinks it's very good. Okay, I'm going to do the facial seriously. I don't want to talk anymore." Then, Mrs. Wen hung up the phone and continued to chat with Tanghua. "System, who was the one who told your son that she didn't want to talk anymore?" The mother and son's conduct was really similar. Tanghua didn't ask Mother Wen who called her out of curiosity, lest the topic couldn't be stopped when the time came. Wen Huai found that he couldn't stop his parents' actions. He could only turn a blind eye and watch his parents cooperate with Tanghua. And he was just at the beginning of the entertainment industry. In order to live up to the young lady's cultivation, of course, he had to act seriously. On Fu Fan's side, something interesting happened. Fu Fan was the #1 hot search on Weibo. However, this time, it was disadvantageous for Fu Fan. It wasn't that they wanted to use him to create hype. There were only 4 words on the hot search. Fu Fan hit someone. Fu Fan was a superstar. Even if his name appeared in the middle of the night, it could cause the entire software to collapse. Moreover, there was no one to help Fu Fan quickly solve these troublesome matters. The hot search was in the afternoon. It was impossible to be the same as before. No one dared to post this kind of negative hot search. Even if he planned to post it, there would be a professional team helping him with public relations. The reason was that Fu Fan found out that Lan Yaling was being bullied in the crew. Especially when she saw that some of the assistants of the small actors actually dared to be arrogant in front of Lan Yaling. They even deliberately didn't hold the water firmly when they handed it to her. Because of this, Lan Yaling's hand was scalded by the hot water. Although she dodged in time, a small part of her skin was still burned red, and soon, it started to blister. This kind of thing, of course, could not be hidden from Fu Fan. At that time, Fu Fan went to find that small actor and demanded an explanation. In the end, that small actor kept saying that it was Lan Yaling who didn't hold the water properly and that it wasn't her assistant's fault. He even said that Fu Fan was the best actor, so he shouldn't use his status to bully small actors like them. In the end, Fu Fan couldn't take it anymore and directly hit that small actor. This scene was captured by someone who was observant. What made Fu Fan even angrier was that after the small actor was hit, he actually said something that made him angry. Transmigration, female supporting lead, calm down, no mistakes will continue to be updated on the website. There are no advertisements on the website. Please bookmark and recommend the website. Like Transmigration, female supporting lead, calm down. Please bookmark Transmigration, Female supporting lead, calm down. Chapter 34. Fu Fan, why are you so arrogant? Do you think you are still the same Fu Fan that had Boss Tang backing him up? If it was before, I would have been afraid of you. But now, I'm not afraid at all. Fu Fan was furious. He hated it the most when people mentioned his relationship with Tanghua in front of him. Every time he achieved something, everyone would say that if it wasn't for Boss Tang, if it wasn't for Boss Tang backing Fu Fan up, would he be where he was today? But if it wasn't for his own hard work, even if it was only because of that woman, he wouldn't be where he was today. These people would only see external help, but they would not see his efforts at all. So, Fu Fan couldn't hold back and hit the man again. In the end, it didn't take long for the words "Fu Fan hit someone" to appear on Weibo's top search. Many fans couldn't believe that this was done by the cold and indifferent Fu Fan. Fu Fan's fans didn't believe that he would hit someone, so they started arguing with him on Weibo. But it didn't take long for a video of Fu Fan hitting someone to be posted online. Although these videos were quickly taken down, there were still people who had saved a copy. It was simply impossible to remove all of them. It wasn't that the investors were willing to help Fu Fan, but they still needed his popularity and had no choice but to help him. They had already invested in the drama that he was currently filming and had to make money. They couldn't watch as the drama flopped on the streets. This was the best way to protect Fu Fan. Meanwhile, Chun Hung reacted quickly. He had already asked someone to write an apology letter. In fact, he even requested for Fu Fan to film an apology video so that his fans would continue to support him. Chen Ge, they were the ones who went too far. Didn't you see the blisters on Yeling's hands? Fu Fan didn't think he was wrong. If those people hadn't provoked him and bullied Lan Yeling, he wouldn't have hit them. Chen Ge, at first, I simply asked them to apologize. But you should have seen their attitude towards me. Do you still want to act? Do you still want to survive in this industry? Xiao Fan, it wasn't easy for you to get to where you are today. This is your most difficult time. How could you be so impulsive? Chun Hung was having a headache. This was a critical period, and many people were waiting for Fu Fan to make a mistake. See, this brat really delivered himself up to them. If it were not for the fact that he knew that Fu Fan did not like to hear certain words and would even get angry when he heard them, he would have really wanted to say that Boss Tang protected Fu Fan too well. After being in this industry for so many years, how could he not have seen the twists and turns of this industry? If anything went wrong now, it would have a huge impact on Fu Fan. Alright, you hit someone. Those people don't care why you hit someone. You're a public figure. It's wrong for you to hit someone. It doesn't matter why you did it. You hit someone. That's violence. Xiao Fan, I know you're a capable person, and I understand that you've always wanted others to think that you're just a serious actor. Chun Heng could not help but mention Tanghua. You don't just see the Boss Tang behind you, right? Fu Fan's expression changed slightly. Indeed, he had been ruthless earlier, because that little actress had gone too far. What he said was like a knife stabbing into his heart. But they're right. If it weren't for Boss Tang, you wouldn't have been able to perform so smoothly. Chapter 34. Don't be angry yet, Xiao Fan. Look at this industry. Is there no one who has better acting skills than you, is better than you, but is not as popular as you? Fu Fan was silent. Of course, there were many. In this industry, it was very rare for someone to make a name for themselves. Many people acted for their entire lives and did not even have a chance to become a B-lister, let alone an A-lister. Why can you do it? Do you really think that you can make a name for yourself in this industry with just your ability? Chun Hung said patiently, you are a public figure now, and you did hit someone. I want you to apologize to your fans. I want you to make a video to apologize. I don't want you to apologize to the small actress who bullied Yeling. I want you to apologize to your fans. What do you mean? Fu Fan had calmed down. Make a video and tell everyone the reason why you hit someone. I have already asked someone to write an apology for you. You can read it once and say it in your own words. I have read it a few times. There are no problems with your apology. Fu Fan looked through the video seriously. In summary, He admitted that he hit someone and that it was wrong of him to hit someone impulsively. He was willing to accept any scolding and punishment. But he did not regret hitting someone because it was his responsibility as a man. Shouldn't a man protect his woman? I have already arranged for someone to take Yaling to the hospital. I also asked her to cooperate and take some photos of the back of her hand. Now, the back of her hand is red, and there is a big blister. When the time comes, you can post a caption with this photo. You can admit that it was wrong of you to hit someone impulsively, but at that time, you couldn't tolerate it in front of anyone. After all, you wanted to protect Yaling and couldn't bear to see your girlfriend get hurt, right? Why? Can I do that?
Yes.
This was the truth, and Fu Fan accepted it. Because Chun Hung reacted quickly, Fu Fan quickly sent an apology letter and attached the photo of Lan Yaling's injured hand. Not long after it was sent, countless people rushed to share it. Fu Fan's apology letter was based on the apology letter. After Chun Hung read it and found that there was nothing wrong, he posted it. Many fans had already accepted the fact that Fu Fan and Lan Yaling were in a relationship. When they heard that he actually hit someone for his woman, not only did they not blame him, they even thought that he did a good job. This was what a man should do, although it was a little impulsive. Therefore, countless fans comforted Fu Fan, hoping that he wouldn't be so impulsive in the future. After all, if he did that, it would be easy to find trouble for himself and give others an opportunity to defame him. They didn't want anything to happen to Fu Fan because of this. At the same time, many fans envied Lan Yaling in their hearts for being liked by Fu Fan. Then, Fu Fan took another video. At the same time, at the end of his speech, he repeatedly reminded everyone not to follow his example. He had made a mistake this time. He was too impulsive and brought a bad influence to the public. In the future, he would deal with everything calmly and in a reasonable and correct way. He would also protect his girlfriend well. This explanation made the fans feel even more heartache. He was such a good man, but he was forced by some people. If you don't bully his girlfriend and provoke Fu Fan, will Fu Fan hit you? However, there were still people on the internet who refused to let go of the incident and kept scolding Fu Fan. Chapter 34-36. They even said that Fu Fan was using his girlfriend to absolve himself. What did he mean by hitting someone for his girlfriend? It was all fake. There were many such excuses. As they continued, some people started to believe them. After all, this was the usual behavior of many people in the entertainment industry. Apart from matters, they would always find all sorts of excuses to absolve themselves. At this moment, a verified account posted on Weibo. I can prove that what Fu Fan said is true. I have a friend who went to the hospital today and happened to take a photo of Lan Yaling going to the hospital. My friend happened to know her and went to see her. He even took some evidence below. Take a look for yourself. There were many high-definition photos below the Weibo post. After this verified account posted on Weibo, the evidence showed that Lan Yaling's hand was indeed scalded. Those who suspected Fu Fan and Chun Heng's side worked well. They asked someone to help investigate the background of that arrogant little actor and exposed all the dirt on him. Hence, Fu Fan's crisis was temporarily resolved. That little actor was more unlucky and could not make a comeback. After dealing with these matters, Chun Hung heaved a long sigh of relief. While he was free, he took out his phone and logged into his chat account. He found a person whose nickname was Dreaming. Chun Hung, I'll transfer the final payment to you later. Boss, Dreaming is generous. If you need anything in the future, boss, feel free to call me. As long as you can afford it, you can have anyone's dirt on you. Happy working with you. Chun Hung, if possible, I don't want to work with you again. Oh right, do you have any dirt on Fu Fan? Boss, Dreaming is smiling. What do you think? I've already said that I have all kinds of dirt on you. We'll sell you whatever you want. As long as the price is right, we'll be able to find some. Do you think Fu Fan being kept by someone counts? Chun Heng's face darkened. Indeed, Dreaming is hiding something. This person was introduced to him by a senior who knew him. The other party was very mysterious. His senior had a good relationship with him. The other party was a screenwriter and knew that he would have to deal with such people in the future as a manager. He only told him that if he encountered any trouble, he should look for dreaming. Not only did the other party sell dirt, but he also took on all kinds of marketing and whitewashing. The only bad thing was that the price was too high. Fu Fan had always been protected by Boss Tang. After he added this person, he had not looked for him even once. Previously, he only hesitated for a moment before looking for this person. Who would have thought that in less than half a day, the situation would turn around? There was no way to erase the fact that Fu Fan had hit someone. She could only try her best to beautify the matter a little so that it wouldn't be as bad as it seemed. At the very least, Fu Fan's fans had to forgive him and understand him. The method of having dreams was indeed very good. Then, he diverted his attention, causing the troublemaker to completely fall. Who asked the other party to be dirty in the first place? Now that all kinds of scandals had been exposed, it was enough to attract everyone's attention. If it weren't for the high price, he really wanted to ask who had posted the video of Fu Fan hitting someone on the internet. Thinking of this, his wallet tightened, and he gave up on this idea. So what if he knew? It was meaningless. Miss, there seems to be an expert around Fu Fan. Wen Huai couldn't help but mention this during dinner. Master, what's going on? Wen Huai observed Tang's expression and found that she really didn't know about it. Indeed, from the beginning to the end of this matter, only half a day had passed. Perhaps little Missy was too busy. With him around, no matter how busy she would still know about Fu Fan's gossip. Wasn't she afraid that a little vinegar jar like you would overturn? It's like this. Something happened this afternoon. Wonderful book house peek. Chapter 30, 437. Wen Huai told her what had happened to Fu Fan. If it weren't for the help of a master, the problem wouldn't have been solved so quickly. Miss, who do you think the master is? How could he help Fu Fan solve such a big problem? Wen Huai asked tentatively. Seeing that she didn't know anything, he guessed that it wasn't her. Wen Huai thought secretly in his heart, since it's not Miss, it doesn't matter who it is. What are you thinking about? Tangwa had already noticed Wen Huai's anxious little eyes. She asked with a smile, What do you want to know? Why don't you ask directly? Wen Huai didn't feel embarrassed after being exposed because he cared about this one person. Of course, he was very concerned about what she was thinking in her heart. When he asked Tangwa such a serious question, he didn't avoid her eyes at all. If I ask you, will you tell me everything? Wen Huai asked expectantly. Tangwa nodded slightly and glanced at Wen Huai, who was still holding her hand tightly. You keep holding my hand. Tell me, what's our relationship? What else can it be? Of course, we're boyfriend and girlfriend, Wen Huai said subconsciously. You said we're boyfriend and girlfriend. What do you want to ask? Of course, I'll tell you. After getting an affirmative answer, Wen Huai laughed happily and gently held Tangwa's hand with both hands. Then I'll ask you. Fu Fan may have all kinds of troubles in the future. If you see him being bullied, will you help him solve those big problems like before? Why should I help him solve those problems? Who is he to me? What benefits can I get by helping him? Tangwa asked back, Do you think I'm a philanthropist? I don't think you're a philanthropist. I'm just afraid that you haven't forgotten him. Wen Huai said directly. Recently, when I wake up every day, the first thing I do is to open the door and see if you're sitting downstairs. Speaking of this, Wen Huai scratched his head a little embarrassedly. I don't know what's wrong with me. Maybe I like you too much. I'm especially afraid that the melodramatic scenes in the TV series will happen to me. What melodramatic scenes? Tangwa was curious. What melodramatic scenes did her little cook fill his mind every day when he had nothing to do? Wen Huai sighed. What else could it be? I'm just afraid that when I woke up and found you were not in the villa, then I'll know that you were worried about Fu Fan and went out to find him overnight. Then, I'm the only pitiful person left in this house. I can't get little Missy's heart, so I feel like everything I do is meaningless. When you have nothing to do, don't think about these things all day long. Think about the script more and do what you want to do well. That's the most important thing. Of course I won't forget that. But now, besides acting, I feel that another thing is very important. Wen Huai did not keep her in suspense. He took Tang's hand and kissed it. When he found that she only smiled and had no intention of resisting, he was very happy. Being with you is also a very happy thing. So, are we going to develop in the direction of marriage? Wen Huai asked. Now was such a good opportunity. He would be a fool not to ask. Her small hand held his, and even kissed him. In the next development process, would he be able to kiss her cute and pink lips? After he kissed her on the lips, would her room become his room?
Peak.
Chapter 34-38. Naturally, wouldn't they be able to get a marriage certificate? Tang saw that Wen Huai was absent-minded and had a silly smile on his face. She almost drooled from the corner of her mouth. She reached out and patted Wen Huai's face. Wake up. Why are you smiling foolishly at me with such a strange expression? What plot are you thinking about? The future. Wen Huai didn't explain much this time. After Tang finished her dinner, he quickly ran to the kitchen and washed the dishes. The happiest thing for him was that while he was washing the dishes in the kitchen, little Missy was standing at the door and looking at him. Her eyes were so focused, as if they were filled with him. This inexplicably made Wen Huai feel at ease. It seemed that Fu Fan was already a thing of the past to little Missy. Since little Missy had made her attitude clear, he didn't need to pay attention to an insignificant person like Fu Fan in the future. He just needed to act well, take good care of her, hold her little hand, and work hard to run towards their bright future. The next day, during lunch, Wen Huai took advantage of the fact that no one else was around and only Li Hafei, who was always by his side. He quietly asked, Brother Li, do you know when little Missy's birthday is? Boss Tang's birthday?
Of course I know.
Li Hafei nodded and instantly understood what Wen Huai meant. He asked in a low voice, Do you want to give Boss Tang a birthday present? You don't have the chance this year. His birthday is already over. Wait for next year. I'm just asking. She's my girlfriend after all. I've neglected this matter before. Wen Huai didn't think that giving a present was only appropriate on a birthday. If you want to give a present, do you need to choose the time? Every day is a good day. Li Hafei was amused by his words, and then nodded. You're right. If you really want to give a present, every day is a good day. Brother Li, if you're free this afternoon, accompany me to the mall to look at things. Of course, Li Hafei agreed. His impression of Wen Huai was getting better and better. There were still many people around Boss Tang who cared about her. However, there was only one person who could do what Wen Huai did. Thinking of this, he couldn't help but compare it to Fu Fan. Fu Fan only gave Boss Tang a present on his birthday every year. As for those gifts, although they looked expensive, one could tell at a glance that they were not carefully prepared. Instead, they were chosen by the assistant beside him. That afternoon, Li Hafei accompanied Wen Huai to the shopping mall to look at the gifts. Li Hafei did not expect that Wen Huai would go directly to the place where he bought the diamond ring. She was looking at the diamond ring with great fascination. Yes, this one looks a little old-fashioned. It's not suitable for a young lady. This seems monotonous again. It doesn't look grand enough. This is not bad, but the diamond is a bit small. Although he could not afford it now, he would be able to get paid soon. Now that he did not have to worry about food and drink, it was only right that he used a large portion of his salary to buy a beautiful ring. Wen Huai's face was full of smiles. When he thought of the diamond ring he bought on Tang's finger in the future, he could not close his mouth. Li Hafei could not help but shake his head. Wen Huai was playing the third male lead this time. He would have a lot of scenes, but he was not famous enough, so the pay would not be too high. When the time came, all the pay he received would be less than 100,000 yuan. However, the other party seemed to have his own budget. He looked at the diamond ring that cost tens of thousands. After calculating, it was just enough to spend the pay he received. Although he was not a woman, when he saw that someone was so devoted to Boss Tang, he was actually a little fucking touched. The wonderful book House the Summit. Chapter 34-39. Fu Fan's problem was temporarily solved because he apologized well and even gave the small actor the compensation he deserved. Many fans even felt sorry for him because of this. After all, the small actor who was about to lose his fame was the first to do something wrong. Because of those scandals, the small actor was already hated by the entire internet. Whether they were Fu fans, other passersby, or those who were just watching the show, or even those who caused trouble, they were all scolding that person. Not only did she say that the other party was ugly, she also bullied the other party's female assistant. She even pinned the blame for the release of the video on this small actress. At this time, Chun-Hung saw that something was wrong with Fu Fan, so he immediately asked the public relations department to help remove any popularity related to Fu Fan. At this time, you don't have to do anything. Just go and film every day. I'll help you solve the problems on the internet. The biggest crisis has passed. Next, we just need to keep a low profile, and there won't be any big problems. You're not a popular person, so it's completely unnecessary for you to compete for attention and hype at this time. It would be best if something big happened at this time to divert the attention of the public. This way, fewer people would pay attention to Fu Fan. Before Fu Fan's next appearance, he couldn't directly be on the hot search list. There had to be a prerequisite. Before you finish filming, I'll help you contact some charity projects. When the time comes, I'll inform you to participate. As for the time, there shouldn't be much. In short, before you finish filming, let people inadvertently know that you're participating in some charity projects. When the news comes out, many people will speak up for you even if they don't let go of the fact that you hit someone. Of course, Fu Fan trusted Chun-Heng's decision. If it weren't for Chun-Heng this time, the impact on him wouldn't be small. Okay, I'll listen to Brother Chun. You'd better listen to me. This is a critical time. Remember, don't be impulsive on set. Now that Yaling's hand is injured, it seems that she won't recover for a while. I'll arrange another assistant to take care of you. So, let Yaling rest at home first. Tell her to go to the hospital to change the bandages on her hand. I know. Because Fu Fan was very famous, the incident of him hitting someone would still be talked about over and over again. Even if it didn't make it to the hot search list, it would still affect Fu Fan's popularity. Therefore, Chun-Heng had no choice but to look for the mysterious person called Dream. Chun-Heng, I don't think it's enough. We need more information to divert attention. Even if it's not scandals, it's fine too. Some celebrities are about to hide their secrets from the public. Dream, that's easy. I knew you would come back for me. After all, Fu Fan is very famous. Boss, if you work with me, you won't be at a disadvantage. Chun-Heng, cut the crap. If you have any ideas, quickly take out the set meal. I'll take a look. Dream. About that, there are normal package, intermediate package, advanced package, king package, and supreme package. As for the best set meal, of course, it would be the supreme set meal. Boss, what supreme set meal do you want? Chun-Heng, I want the most suitable set meal. He wasn't going to be fooled. Did he think that their money wasn't money? He didn't know how senior brother got to know such a black-hearted merchant. After Chun-Heng bought the set meal, he sat in front of the computer and waited. In about 10 minutes, 3 pieces of news about popular celebrities were exposed one after another. Wonderful book room vertex. Chapter 3440. It was either that someone was in a new relationship or that someone was pregnant and had been hiding it all this time. Either that, or she was a mistress who had interfered in their relationship. Suddenly, Weibo was very lively. Fewer and fewer people were talking about Fu Fan. Everyone was talking about these few popular celebrities. If they continued to talk about Fu Fan, it would seem that they were not up to date with the trend and the topic. At this moment, Chun-Heng finally heaved a sigh of relief and lay down to sleep peacefully. When he closed his eyes, he was still thinking about how those night owls would love nothing more than to be able to eat the news of celebrities in the middle of the night, right? They were really a bunch of bored people. Lan Yaling was recuperating at home and paying close attention to Weibo. Her phone never left her hand. If there was any news, she would be the first to know about it. When she suddenly saw so much explosive news, she had no idea that it was Chun-Heng's doing. She only thought that these celebrities had been careless and had been spotted by the paparazzi. When she saw that there were fewer discussions about Fu Fan, She was relieved and prepared to put down her phone to sleep. Actually, she still felt very guilty about Fu Fan's current situation. If it wasn't for her, Fu Fan would not have hit someone. Just as she was about to put down her phone, she suddenly heard a private message notification. She instinctively opened it to take a look. When she saw it, she couldn't fall asleep anymore. Because the other party had sent paragraph after paragraph of private messages, she couldn't fall asleep at all. Wasabi, brother was implicated by you this time. You should leave him quickly. Wasabi, if it wasn't for you, would brother have done something so impulsive as hitting someone? If I were you, I would have left in shame long ago. You're good. Brother is in front of you, but you're hiding in the back and not saying a word. As the saying goes, flies don't bite flawless eggs. If your hand was scalded, it was most likely because you were clumsy. Who would be so stupid as to purposely injure your hand? She was a public celebrity after all. If this matter were to spread, how would she continue to survive? Wasabi, I'm really worried. If you continue to stay by brother's side, he will encounter more unlucky things. If I were you, for brother's sake, I would disappear from his world immediately. Seeing this short sentence, Lan Yaling's heart felt stifled. She didn't know where she came from. Did her relationship with Fu Fan have anything to do with her? She did feel very guilty about Fu Fan hitting someone for her and damaging his image. But what did it have to do with this person? She wanted her to leave Fu Fan at every turn. Who did she think she was? So Lan Yaling couldn't help but reply. Lan Yaling, who are you? What right do you have to interfere in the matters between me and Fu Fan? Wasabi, you're really thick-skinned. I really don't understand what's so good about you that my brother actually likes someone like you. I won't doubt my brother's judgment. You must have pretended too well and acted too perfectly in front of my brother, deceiving him. Hurry up and scram. Leave brother as soon as possible. Don't stay by his side and continue to hurt him. Lan Yaling, you don't have to worry about that. My relationship with Fu Fan is very stable. Wasabi, shameless pervert Wasabi. I'm giving you face, but you don't want it. You're only speaking politely because of my brother. Hurry up and leave my brother. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude. Wonderful book Room Vertex. Chapter 30, 441. Lan Yaling, I won't leave Fu Fan. After replying, Lan Yaling didn't plan to say anything more. After all, she was Fu Fan's assistant and woman. If she was too angry and replied with the wrong words, it would attract criticism if the other party took a screenshot. Just now, she was very impulsive. She shouldn't have responded. She should have just blocked it and ignored it. After blocking the message, Lan Yaling put down her phone and went to sleep. However, she was still a little angry. The more she thought about it, the more uncomfortable she felt. What she didn't expect was that in the next few days, she was bombarded with private messages from all kinds of Smurfs. The other party was especially arrogant. The nicknames were Wasabi 1, Wasabi 2, Wasabi 3. Obviously, they were telling her that the other party had a lot of Smurfs and wasn't afraid of her blocking them. What made Lan Yaling even angrier was that Wasabi had even sent her address, her former school, and some private photos of her with her friends and family. She understood that the other party had actually exposed her. Before she could react, a group of people surrounded her Weibo and began to bombard her Weibo. If she wasn't wrong, it was that Wasabi's. Although this matter didn't make it to the hot search, it made Lan Yaling sick. Coincidentally, Fu Fan found out about this matter. He accidentally looked at Weibo and clicked on Lan Yaling's Weibo to see the situation. Combined with Lan Yaling's illness, when the other party wasn't paying attention, he snatched the other party's phone and saw the private messages that were still being sent. Why didn't you tell me earlier that this had happened? Fu Fan pointed at the phone and asked, You were attacked like this and you didn't even want to tell me? Aren't you busy? I've already implicated you before. If I tell you this kind of thing, won't I be causing trouble for you? As Lan Yaling spoke, her eyes turned red and she couldn't help but cry. These few days, she felt really wronged. She had never felt so wronged before. This is no longer a small matter. The other party secretly spread your address and private information. It's illegal. Fu Fan immediately logged into his Weibo and posted, Lan Yaling, this is the person I want to protect. I don't want her to get hurt. When Lan Yaling saw this post, she couldn't help but cry. She lay in Fu Fan's arms and cried for a long time. Regarding that crazy fan, I will leave it to Brother Chen to deal with. He has already broken the law. Forget it. So many things have already happened. If something goes wrong, it will affect you greatly. At that time, Brother Chen might be dissatisfied with me again. I won't let it go so easily. Chun Hung was having a headache. Fortunately, it was not a bad thing this time. Originally, Fu Fan had already established the image of a good boyfriend. Now that Lan Yaling's Weibo was being attacked by crazy fans, standing up to protect Lan Yaling could still make a wave of fans feel that they were not fans of the wrong person. As for the group of irrational fans, such as the one called Wasabi, Fu Fan really didn't need them. It could be said that Fu Fan's Weibo post had not only solidified his fans, but it had also increased his popularity. After all, who would still stand out and say that they wanted to protect their girlfriend at a time like this? Chunhung looked at the reactions below and felt that it was indeed not bad. Although there were some brainless fans who directly left, it was all for naught. After all, most of Fu Fan's fans weren't irrational. In the end, Chunhung chose to call the police to deal with the brainless fan named Wasabi. In the end, they found out the truth. It turned out that this Weibo user with the nickname Wasabi was a primary school student. Wonderful book Room Vertex. Chapter 3442. It was probably because she didn't have enough homework and her parents were busy, so they gave her a lot of pocket money as compensation. At least, the police who found out about Lan Yaling had used a lot of pocket money that she had saved up. When they were found, the police reprimanded Wasabi's parents and told them not to neglect their child no matter how busy they were. Today, they exposed someone's private information. Who knew what they would do tomorrow? After Wasabi's parents were reprimanded and punished, they personally brought Wasabi to Lan Yaling to apologize. Both of them were highly educated. When they found out about this, they regretted their negligence in educating their child. Although Wasabi still looked reluctant, his parents were very sincere. In the current environment, it was really rare for someone to do this. In the end, Lan Yaling chose to forgive them. As for what happened to Wasabi, Chunhung didn't know. The matter was resolved and Fu Fan's image became more positive. At least, everyone knew that Fu Fan was an infatuated, responsible person who didn't shirk his responsibilities. After this incident, Lan Yaling's matter was considered over. Everyone also saw how much Fu Fan valued Lan Yaling. At least, Fu Fan's fans now wouldn't say anything bad about Lan Yaling. In order to improve Lan Yaling's image and make her fans feel better, Chunhung worked hard to come up with a wave of plans. He got someone to expose some of Lan Yaling's work photos. When the fans saw how seriously Lan Yaling took care of Fu Fan, how much she had to do and how meticulous she was, to be honest, they were quite touched. When it came to Lan Yaling, they didn't have much of an opinion. In the next 2 months, nothing major happened. Those celebrities whose scandals and private matters were exposed only made the internet lively for a few days before they disappeared. It was worth mentioning that because of the previous incident, Fu Fan and Lan Yaling would attract a lot of paparazzi to take photos whenever they appeared in public. Moreover, many fans on the internet had already started to worship this couple. In fact, the more they did, the more addicted they became. Although the person they were fans of already had a girlfriend, many female fans were still a little disappointed. But the person their idol liked was a commoner girl. This made them a little excited, and they felt that the person they were fans of was indeed different. She didn't care about family background at all. She only cared about whether she liked someone or not. Sure enough, their fan was the most genuine person. In 2 months, when Huai and Fu Fan finished filming. On the day that when Huai finished filming, he quickly ran back home, made a delicious lunch, and sent it to Tangua's office. Perhaps it was because of his relationship with Tangua when Huai received his pay as soon as he finished filming. On the day it ended, he used the money to buy the ring he had his eyes on. Therefore, He rushed to Tangwa's office with the insulated lunchbox and the ring in his hand. The people in the office building all recognized Wen Huai. They knew that he was Tangwa's man, so they all smiled and nodded at him. Wen Huai walked into the elevator with a happy face, which made everyone in the lobby feel a little strange. Young Master Wen seemed to be very happy today. Could it be that he came specially to tell Boss Tang some good news? Host, your chef is here with a thermal lunchbox. He is most likely done filming.
Peak.
Chapter 3443. The system did not speak for long before Wen Huai was brought into the office by Maymin. Maymin closed the office door with a faint smile in her eyes under the frame of her glasses. She thought highly of Wen Huai. Ever since Boss Tang brought him back, her impression of him had been getting better and better. She was sure that she would never find another person who could do what Wen Huai did. Li Hufei also secretly told her a secret. He said that Wen Huai used almost all of his salary to buy a beautiful diamond ring, saying that it was a gift for Boss Tang. A man who is willing to spend money on you might not love you, but if a man was willing to spend all his money on you, what was it if it was not love? When Wen Huai came in, Tangwa looked up and asked him, "Are you done filming?" Wen Huai nodded at Tangwa and walked to her desk. "I'm not done yet. It's time to eat. How about we continue after eating?" Looking at the pile of documents, Wen Huai did not know how much she had dealt with in the morning. Thinking of his family's plans, Wen Huai had a headache. Although his sister was very capable, he did not want her to be so tired. Besides, if they were busy all day, would they have any extra time to spend with each other? No matter how he thought about it, it was not worth it. If only his parents could give birth to a younger brother. Even if it took some time to raise the younger brother, it would be better than letting his sister work so hard every day. "Aren't you bringing me food? Why are you in a daze?" Wen Huai often wandered in front of Tangwa, so she had long been used to it. Maybe she was imagining some strange images. "Yes, let's eat first." Wen Huai quickly put the food on the table. He cooked for 2 people. As long as he was free, he cooked for 2 people. Then, the 2 of them could eat lunch together in the office. If one of them ate alone, no matter how good the food was, it would not be delicious. Wen Huai also thought of business. He put one hand into the pocket of his pants. There was a small square box inside. He held the small box and secretly glanced at Tangwa, who was eating seriously. The delicious food in front of him could no longer attract him. Now, he only had eyes for this beautiful lady. He really wanted to put the diamond ring on her finger. With this in mind, Wen Huai really intended to do so. "Ah, Huai, why are you looking at me? Why aren't you eating? Have you already eaten?" "No, I didn't." Wen Huai was a little nervous. He was afraid that the surprise he prepared would be discovered by Tangwa in advance. His hand trembled, and the small square box fell out and rolled directly to Tangwa's feet. Wen Huai looked at the red square box that was no longer rolling. His expression was very vexed. He really wanted to pull his hand out and give it a good beating. "Who asked you to be so disobedient? You didn't listen to your brain's accusation. Why did your hand have to shake?" "What is this?" Tangwa bent down to pick it up. Wen Huai reacted quickly and hurriedly picked it up. He directly grabbed Tangwa's hand and opened the small box. In one breath, he took out the diamond ring inside and put it on her slender finger. Regardless of whether she agreed or not, the diamond ring was put on her finger. Then she was his and he was hers. "Is this a proposal?" Tangwa pretended to be surprised and asked. Although Wen Huai really wanted to nod yes, this proposal plain was too shabby. He hurriedly shook his head. Wonderful book, House Peak. Chapter 3444. After shaking his head, he felt a little regretful. He grabbed his hair hard. He didn't know what was wrong with him today. Everything he did was in a panic. The speech he had prepared was not in the mood now. "Then what is this?" "It's a diamond ring. Where did you get it?" Tangwa asked. Wen Huai looked serious. "I bought it." Looking at the diamond ring, "It should be real. It must be expensive. Where did you get the money?" Tangwa suddenly remembered that she seemed to have forgotten something. What a bossy CEO would do, of course, was to give the supplementary card to her husband and let him spend it whenever he was free. Tang's gaze made Wenhui feel a little hot. His sister's gaze was really too seductive. If he wasn't wrong, it should be the legendary doting gaze. I've received my pay, so I wanted to buy you a gift. Your hands are beautiful, so it's best to wear a ring. I heard from Secretary May that your pay this time is not high. You won't get more than 100,000 yuan. How much did you spend on such a ring? It's not bad. It's only about 80,000 yuan. Wenhui secretly glanced at Tanghua as if he was afraid that she would be angry. He quickly explained, "Actually, I don't spend much money at all. Right now, I live at your place, eat your food, wear your clothes, and use your things. Everything is taken care of by you. So, buying a diamond ring is nothing. Also, I just want to give you a gift. When the pay increases in the future, I'll give you something else." Earning money, especially through acting, was really not an easy thing to do, especially when he took a shortcut. Otherwise, it wouldn't be so easy. You have a point. Okay, I won't pursue this matter. Tanghua was happy in her heart. She didn't have any intention to blame Wenhui. She just wanted to remind him not to spend all his money. But looking at Wenhui's smiling face, she felt that even if Wenhui spent all his money, he wouldn't starve to death.
So she didn't want to.
Anyway, she was taking care of him. If he liked to spend money, then so be it. Anyway, he was spending it on her. System. These two thick-skinned people were a perfect match. Do you like it? Wenhui glanced at the ring on Tang's finger. He thought it was very beautiful. It's very beautiful. I like it. I've never worn a diamond ring before.
To be honest, this is my first time.
Tanghua looked at Wenhui attentively, which made him feel embarrassed. Thank you for the gift. I like it very much. Do you like diamond rings? When I earn more in the future, I'll get you a bigger and prettier one. Perhaps because he was too happy when Hui blurted out, I don't spend much anyway. You can spend all the money I earn. The system was such a fool. It was so silly that it was cute. With such a character profile, if he was placed in another place, he might just be a spare tire. He was the kind of spare tire that gave his heart but still couldn't get the female lead heart. Okay, then I'll wait. Tanghua had thought it through. Anyway, she was taking care of Wenhui. There didn't seem to be anything wrong with Wenhui earning money to buy her a diamond ring. They were going to be a family in the future. They shouldn't be so distant. Oh, right. I forgot to give you something. What was it? Of course, it was the secondary card. When Wenhui received the secondary card, he was still a little confused. Of course, he wasn't embarrassed at all. He didn't feel embarrassed or ashamed at all.
Peak.
Chapter 34:45. What a joke. She was his girlfriend, but she was willing to give him the supplementary card and even told him to spend it as he liked. At this moment, in Wenhui's heart, his little sister was really amazing. He especially liked this feeling of being cared about by his sister. Okay. Wenhui happily put the card into his wallet. He didn't think there was anything wrong with it at all. He was really awesome to have a girlfriend like this sister. Therefore, that Fu Fan must be blind. That's why he can't see this young lady, okay? What do you want to eat tonight? I'll prepare it in advance and wait for you to come back. Wenhui held Tang with small hand and asked happily. Tanghua looked at Wenhui's face seriously and suddenly said, I want to eat you. The system's words were really domineering. Wenhui was indeed stunned for a moment. Then his face remained unchanged, but his ears were a little red. He held Tanghua's hand and didn't intend to let go. If you want to eat me, I can. But you'd better eat first. People are made of iron and rice is made of steel. If you don't eat, you'll be hungry. No matter what you do, you must eat until you're full. The system burst into laughter. It was really hilarious. This silly boy, did he come to ruin the atmosphere? I want to eat the egg noodles you made. Tanghua said with a smile, which made Wenhui confused. Seeing the faint smile in Tanghua's eyes, he realized that he seemed to have been teased. But it was really nothing. If she liked to tease him, then let her tease him as much as she liked. Whether she wanted to eat him or eat the egg noodles he made, he was happy. Brother Sun, Brother Lee, and the people who helped me recently, let me treat you to a meal. Is it to celebrate the completion of the shooting? Li Hafei asked. Wen Huai nodded and then shook his head. It's not just the completion of the shooting. There's another more important thing. My relationship with my sister has improved, so we especially need to celebrate. I don't have many people to share it with, so I can only share it with you. Sun Jun and Li Hafei didn't know whether to laugh or cry. They had seen countless people, but they had never seen a treasure like Wen Huai. Li Hafei was a little curious. Your relationship with Boss Tang has improved. Did you move into her room? Li Hafei couldn't be blamed for asking this because he had accidentally overheard Wen Huai talking to himself. In front of these people, Wen Huai was not shy at all. Instead, he said seriously, not so fast. But I will move in sooner or later. He couldn't help but take out the supplementary card from his wallet. Miss gave me the supplementary card, and let me spend it as I wish. Isn't this the greatest proof of progress in our relationship? Sun Jun was speechless. Li Hafei was speechless. Actually, it could be considered that, but they really couldn't understand. A man who spent a woman's money wouldn't announce it in public, especially someone like Wen Huai, who was afraid that others would know. He was really a strange treasure. Sun Jun said, Congratulations, young Master Wen. Li Hafei, Congratulations, congratulations. Time passed in the blink of an eye. Wen Huai's drama started airing. Just as Sun Jun expected, Wen Huai's character attracted a lot of attention as soon as he appeared on the scene. He attracted a lot of attention from the audience. Because Wen Huai's acting skills were not bad, his looks were very good, and his character was very popular, the audience went to look for his Weibo account.
Peak.
Chapter 3446. Overnight, Wen Huai went from a nobody with only a few hundred followers to tens of thousands of followers, all of whom were real people. With Wen Huai's current situation, he didn't need to buy followers or do any marketing. Hence, they were all following him. Because of this role, Wen Huai started to appear on the hot search list again. This was another time for him to gain more followers. In just 2 days, everyone who watched the drama knew about Wen Huai. Of course, the fans soon discovered something. Wen Huai's Weibo profile showed that he was in a relationship. Apart from the 2 posts to promote the drama, the latest post actually announced that he was leaving Peony. The photo of him with his fingers intertwined with a woman was really eye-catching. Perhaps because these were all new fans, they were still able to accept it. Moreover, Wen Huai's debut attracted people with his role. If people didn't like him because he was in a relationship, they probably wouldn't continue to follow him. Hence, everyone accepted that Wen Huai, this shining star, was already taken. When Wen Huai was interviewed, he was specifically asked if he was single. Wen Huai was smiling. Everyone could tell that he was smiling the happiest at that time. Of course not. I'm in a relationship. I'm taken. You don't have a chance. It was indeed impressive that he admitted it so openly. Everyone in the entertainment industry thought that Wen Huai was trying to establish his image. After all, there was a man called Fu Fan who was infatuated with Wen Huai. He was very good at establishing his image as a good boyfriend. However, they didn't know that Wen Huai didn't think that way at all. He really wanted to tell the whole world that he wasn't single. He had a woman at home. His woman was a smart, capable, and beautiful woman. He didn't know how many lifetimes of good fortune he had accumulated in exchange for his treasure. Young Master Wen said to ignore the negative news. So, I'm here to ask Boss Tang if she has any opinions. Sun Jun couldn't control this. After all, Wen Huai was now Tanggua's man. Mei Min then told Tanggua about this. Tanggua only replied, Listen to Wen Huai. Whatever he wants to do, cooperate with him. When Sun Jun heard this, he really couldn't believe it. Boss Tang actually indulged Wen Huai to this extent? Xiaofan, you've been watching this drama for the past 2 days, especially Wen Huai's character. You've watched all the scenes over and over again. Do you know what to expect? Chen Heng wasn't the blockhead. Xiaofan, I've said long ago. Xiaofan, I've said it. Once you miss it, you'll miss it. You won't be able to get close in the future. Brother Chen, what are you trying to say? Fu Fan stared at the screen indifferently. I'm just surprised by this person's acting skills. I remember that he's not a professional actor. Although his acting skills are not as good as those experienced actors, he's full of spirit. He brought the character to life. You can't underestimate him. You said that people change quickly in this industry. I agree. If nothing unexpected happens, this person will soon be able to play the male lead. If he doesn't play the male lead this year, he'll be able to play the male lead next year. By then, there will be one more person competing with me. Then let's prepare well and choose a good script. I hope that those directors with personality will pick you. Chun Hung didn't say much. He didn't want to argue with Fu Fan. After all, you can never wake up a person who's pretending to be asleep.
Calm down.
Please bookmark the female lead.
Calm down.
You can update faster. Chapter 30, 447. I really don't like her. How can I be attracted to this woman? Brother Chun is really too much. He always thinks about these things. The television station that bought Fu Fan's drama had its own arrangements. It wouldn't be released so quickly. However, it would be released in the second half of the year at the latest. Although Chun Hung had left, Fu Fan was still staring at Wen Huai's drama without blinking. Brother Fan, you've been watching this drama for a long time. Lan Yeling was standing at the door. Don't you want to rest your eyes? It's not good to overuse them. Lan Yeling walked to Fu Fan's side and massaged his temples. Even if you want to study, you can't be so tired. You're making me worried. Yeling, let's get engaged. Fu Fan suddenly held Lan Yeling's hand. Let's get engaged early, so that we can give you an explanation. Otherwise, those fans will keep guessing and think that we'll break up quickly if we show off our love. Lan Yeling was a little excited. Of course, getting engaged was good. However, she was a little hesitant. She felt that everything was unreal. She was just a small assistant from an ordinary background. Now, she was called the girlfriend of the movie king. The movie king even announced it publicly for her. All of this felt too much like a dream. She had always thought that she was dreaming. It was only when she went online and occasionally saw negative comments about her, such as netizens saying that she wasn't good enough for Fu Fan, that she realized that this was reality. However, Fu Fan's subsequent reaction made her feel that this was a dream. Now that Fu Fan was going to get engaged to her, she couldn't differentiate between reality and a dream. Was Fu Fan really willing to get engaged to her and marry her in the future? Could they spend the rest of their lives together? She was very happy. Of course, she was very happy. After all, before she became an assistant, she was already a loyal fan of Fu Fan. She even secretly liked him in her heart. You're not willing? Yes, of course I'm willing. Whether it was a dream or reality, Lan Yeling of course didn't want to miss out on such a happy event. So, she quickly agreed. Since you're willing, then be more serious. I'll tell Brother Chen about this. When the time comes, we'll decide on a good date, and I'll announce it to the public. Okay. Lan Yeling was in a daze. After all, how could there be such a good thing in reality? Fu Fan's engagement with Lan Yeling had indeed surprised Chen Hung. In his heart, he was already very sure that Fu Fan had other feelings for Boss Tang. For some reason, Fu Fan denied this feeling from the bottom of his heart. This made Chen Hung feel a little regretful, but he didn't know what to say. When Fu Fan decided to get engaged to Lan Yeling, Chen Hung tried to persuade him by saying, if you really want to get engaged now, although it won't affect you much, I think you should think about it carefully. After all, once they were engaged, Fu Fan would be Lan Yeling's fiancé. If he went back on his word in the future or made any mistakes in their relationship, he would be labeled as a scumbag and a heartless man. However, Fu Fan seemed to have made up his mind. When the investors found out that Fu Fan was planning to get engaged, they were overjoyed and even said that they wanted to sponsor him. This was because the TV series that he had filmed before was about to be broadcasted. In the early stages of the broadcast, Fu Fan's engagement would be on the hot search list. At the same time, it would also boost the popularity of the drama.
It was a good thing for them.
DDKU. Vertex. Chapter 30, 448. The engagement of Fu Fan and Lan Yeling had indeed caused a huge commotion. Some gave their blessings, while others didn't think highly of it. However, because of what happened before, Fu Fan didn't have any negative comments. He was quite popular. At the same time, the TV series did become popular. On the day of the broadcast, many people were looking forward to watching it on their TV. From that day onwards, Lan Yeling felt like she was in a dream and couldn't wake up. Fu Fan was such a good person, and he actually got engaged to her. On the second day of the TV series, what Chunhung was worried about finally happened. The second male lead was secondary. The main thing was that the first female lead's acting skills were stiff and her facial expression was especially unnatural. Even if she acted with a famous actor like Fu Fan, she still couldn't save herself. On the second day of the broadcast, people started to criticize the first female lead. They even said that Fu Fan was implicated by the first female lead's bad acting skills and scolded the first female lead to get out of the entertainment industry. There were even more vicious words. On the day of the broadcast, Fu Fan also watched it. Xiao Fan, did you see that? Although the audience is still praising your acting skills, they definitely wouldn't be able to watch it if it wasn't for this. On the surface, you didn't lose anything, but you definitely can't accept such a script next time. Otherwise, you'll easily be called the king of bad movies in the future. Fu Fan nodded. I understand, Brother Chen. I was too anxious before.
I'll listen to you from now on.
I'll only accept scripts that are beneficial to me. Even if the production is small, as long as it has a good reputation, it won't be a problem. Of course, he didn't lack money. It was just that his status in the industry wasn't stable, which made him feel a sense of urgency. Previously, he didn't ask anything and accepted the script that seemed to be good. He didn't expect the water to be so deep. Thinking of this, Fu Fan looked a little annoyed. In the past, someone had arranged all these for him. Of course, he didn't need to think about this. Unknowingly, the image of that woman appeared in his mind. Have you seen those scripts? I've carefully selected them. The director is very capable and is well known in the industry for his professionalism. Take a look and see which one you like. I'll ask Chunhung to accompany you to the audition next time. I believe that you'll definitely be able to move the director. I heard from Chunhung that he's going to pick out 2 premium brand endorsements for you. It just so happens that I know the bosses of a few high-end brands. When I'm free, I'll have a meal with them and ask if they need any new endorsements. By the way, I saw that there's a reality show that's pretty good recently. You've been filming for half a year. That reality show is just about eating, drinking, and going around to have fun. It's a way to relax. The director of the program is my senior. If you want to go, I can call him and ask. It shouldn't be a big problem. The drama that Fu Fan acted in was playing in front of him, but Fu Fan's mind was recalling every call that woman made to him. Her tone wasn't warm, but every time she spoke, she was able to properly arrange his future.
Xiao Fan.
Chunhung found Fu Fan's sudden silence strange. Are you upset? It's not your fault. After all, you don't have any experience. How would you know that there are so many twists and turns? It's my fault for not telling you clearly. It was also his fault. He wanted to take a gamble and see how Boss Tang would react. But from then on, Boss Tang did not do anything to Fu Fan. Vertex. Chapter 30, 449. However, Boss Tang did not pay any attention to Fu Fan again. This proved that some people once lost could never be regained again. Brother Chun, I want to be alone and think about it, Fu Fan said, looking tired. Chunhung patted him on the shoulder. Okay, I'll leave first. Chunhung came out of Fu Fan's room and found Lan Yeling standing at the door. She seemed to have been standing there for a long time. He closed the door and gestured for Lan Yeling not to disturb him. Brother Chun, is Brother Fan unhappy because of this drama? Lan Yeling knew that she could not help much, so she felt very sad. This time, Fu Fan was completely implicated by the female lead. Before accepting the script, Fu Fan did not know that the female lead was Lan Yeling. However, a lot of people outside were saying that Fu Fan was implicated. Fu Fan was the one who accepted the script, so he was the one who had to bear the consequences. Looking at these words, she felt very uncomfortable. She was by Fu Fan's side, so she knew about these things. He was more pure than many people. He was not like what others thought, who would accept any drama for money. Maybe. Let him be alone. Lan Yeling said sadly, I'm sorry. I can't help Brother Fan. Just take good care of him. I'll help him with other things, Chun Hung said. Lan Yeling was not wrong. What did she do wrong? Chun Hung had already let go of this. Thank you, Brother Chun. Seeing such a pure Lan Yeling, Chun Hung did not know if Fu Fan's choice to be with Lan Yeling and his engagement with her would last long. Fu Fan has been cheated badly this time. Although many people feel sorry for him, this drama is the failure of his life. Wen Huai couldn't help but shake his head. It was mainly because of the acting skills of the female lead. He really couldn't bear to look at it directly. It was fine if there was only one female lead, but there was also a second male lead. That look of him only caring about acting cool was extremely embarrassing. If it was a normal actor, it would be fine to act in such a drama. After all, it was not easy to get resources. But for a famous actor like Fu Fan, he was simply overusing his influence. It was not a problem in the short term, but if he accepted another drama like this, his reputation would be ruined. Miss, speaking of which, the waters of this circle are really deep. I'm a little scared. What Wen Huai said was true. He remembered that when he was just an extra for a while, an actress had taken a fancy to him and wanted to seduce him. She even said that she could let him play a role beside her in the drama as long as they went to her room at night to discuss it. It's just, was he the kind of person who would sacrifice his body for the sake of acting? Of course, if the person who seduced him was the young lady beside him, even if it was for free, he would still be happy. Don't be afraid. With me here, I won't let you encounter such a situation. In the future, I will invest in every drama you act in. Whoever you think is not good, we will think of a way to get rid of them. Tang was said in an especially domineering manner. Wen Huai was a little embarrassed, but he still felt sweet inside. His little sister was really awesome. I don't think this is a good idea. What's wrong with that? If the entire drama is ruined because of a bad actress, wouldn't I, as an investor, suffer a loss? Wen Huai nodded. That seems to make some sense. Sun Jun chose a second male lead role for you this time. Are you dissatisfied with it? Tang Gua thought of this matter.
Peak.
Chapter 3450. Wen Huai shook his head. No, I think it's good. Take it one step at a time, and be down to earth. Not long after, when Huai's peaceful day off ended, he had successfully auditioned for the role and went back to the filming set. This time, he needed to go somewhere else, so he could not meet Tang Gua every day. He could only find time to ask about Tang Gua over the phone. But every night, he would video call Tang Gua and ask her if she had eaten well. He was very long-winded. After asking a lot of questions, it was almost time to go to bed. Every time, when Huai looked reluctant, which made Tang Gua laugh. System, don't worry. The host will definitely eat well. You silly boy, don't worry. As for Fu Fan, he did not accept the role immediately. He listened to Chen Heng's suggestion and waited until there was a suitable script before he fought for it. Even if he had to spend a year waiting for a good script, it would be better than the last time when he had to work with an actor with awkward acting skills, or even with no acting skills. During this period, Fu Fan lost a lot of endorsements. Most of them were related to Tang Gua. After all, there were many people who were more famous than Fu Fan in the industry. He did not have to be chosen. When the contract was up, it was normal to change the endorser. Even the fans had nothing to say about it. And Fu Fan could not stay idle either. He chose an adventure reality show for Fu Fan. This show was dangerous, but it had been tested for safety. The rescue team and medical team were complete. Since the start of the filming, there had not been any serious incidents. The main thing was that this program attracted a large and small audience, young and old. It could be said that the show had a wide audience and could be popular with many people. It was very suitable for Fu Fan. Another thing was that this show had a special feature. Every actor was only qualified to participate once. Once they were eliminated, they would not have the chance to return for the rest of their lives. And all the actors in the industry would have the chance to participate as long as they passed the test. It could only be said that the director of the show was a rather capricious person. And this was also what attracted the audience. They could see different stars and actors appear. Fu Fan's appearance was indeed a surprise to the fans. This reality TV adventure show was basically broadcast after each episode was recorded. It was about time. After recording this week, it would be broadcasted next week. Therefore, for everyone there was still a lot of pressure. Fu Fan's luck and strength were not bad. He had participated for about 3 weeks and had not been eliminated. Of course, more people knew about him. During the 4th week of filming, something happened to Fu Fan. For some reason, the safety rope suddenly came loose, causing Fu Fan to fall. Although the fall wasn't too high, he hit his head when he fell. Fu Fan felt dizzy on the spot, and the medical team immediately came to check on him. When Fu Fan was sent to the hospital, he wasn't in a coma, but he was in a daze. Lan Yeling, who was by Fu Fan's side, was so anxious that she cried. "Brother Chen, will Brother Fan be okay?" Lan Yeling couldn't stop her tears from falling. "Please don't let anything happen to him. It's all my fault. Why didn't you check the safety rope carefully? If I had checked more, this wouldn't have happened." Yeling, don't worry. Wonderful book room Vertex. You're tuning in to the Dreamy Chapters YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.